Hello?
Hi, this is Pablo.
Yeah, this is Pablo.
Hi, this is Jennifer from State Class.
Hi.
Hi, is this still a good time to talk?
Oh yes, perfect time.
Okay. So you graduated from Honolulu High School in what year?
1999.
1999. How do you spell your name?
How do I spell my name?
Yeah.
So my name is Pablo, Pablo, and my last name is spelled Wegesend, and it's pronounced Wegesend.
Sorry, can you spell it one more time?
Okay, Wegesend.
Okay, great. Yeah, so what do you think about the fact that you want to change the name?
Yeah, so it should change back to what it's originally being called. It's Honolulu High School, so it should go back to what it used to be. The reason is that because William McKinley was the U.S. president when the U.S. took over Hawaii against the consent of the people of Hawaii, and it was basically, I think the school was named after William McKinley. It's kind of like we took over your country now. What are you going to do about it? It's kind of like for example, if Putin was to after he took over, if he was to take over Ukraine and name all the schools in Ukraine Putin High School, I mean that would definitely cause a reaction. So.
Right.
And I think this is what happens to a lot of countries that's been colonized. They'll the colonizer would name a bunch of things after the rulers of the colonizing country, just to say, we're taking over your country now. What are you going to do about it? So I think that's what it is.
Some of the older alums, graduated in the 70s and 80s, they talk about how if you change the name, it's gonna change their identity, because you know how here it's super it's a big deal to say where you went grad, right? Where you went to high school to here is really tied to your identity. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's kind of reminds me of Liberty House. I mean, some people still might call it Liberty House, even though Macy's took over it 2 decades ago. I mean people still gonna call it that. I mean if you change the school, the official name to Honolulu High School again, I mean no one's gonna stop anybody from saying I'm a McKinley grad, but it's just what's the official name of the school now? We talk about for example, there's a middle school in downtown which used to be called Central Middle School.
Yeah.
Now it's changed to Ke'ili Kolani Middle School. I mean that's the official name now, but I mean if someone wants to call himself a Central Middle School graduate, I mean no one's really gonna stop them from saying that. I mean but it's just now we have a different official name to recognize the history of the school and the history of Hawaii. So it's so I mean no one's gonna stop anyone from saying I'm a McKinley grad. I mean I think a lot of the reluctance to change the name is because the school songs and they change the name at football games and pep rallies and that sort of thing. I mean it's hard to change people's habits, but I think that sometimes you need to change. I mean that's a lot of the schools that's in the continental U.S. that was named after Confederate generals or whatever. I mean they changed the name. I mean just to recognize the history and recognize what is the right thing to do and what's not the right thing to do. I mean it's imagine if we had a school named after Saddam Hussein or Osama bin Laden. I mean that'd be kind of messed up, right? I mean but that's how it is about McKinney. Took over Hawaii, took over not only that too, he also took over Guam, Philippines, Puerto Rico, when those other countries are trying to fight off the Spanish. And so he took a whole bunch of other lands without the consent of the people. So it's so it's kind of but people want to insist calling themselves McKinley grad. I mean no one's stopping them. We're just changing the official name of the school. So I I'm not of Native Hawaiian ancestry, but I did grow up in Hawaii all my life, but I don't claim to be of Native Hawaiian ancestry.
You were born here?
Yes.
Okay. What does it mean to you to be a McKinley grad? Like, what does that say about who you are when you tell people that you grad from McKinley?
Oh, so I mentioned this high school is like the tiger spirit, so I'm definitely keeping the mascot. I mean, in fact, I'll go as far as saying that we can put a tiger statue on the oval, because right now the oval in the school right in front of the administration building has a statue of William McKinley, so it's kind of like that statue is like, we put your symbols on your land, now what are you going to do about it? You can just put a tiger on the oval. It's a symbol of the school, so it's still like the part of the school, and so I'm proud to say I'm a tiger, yeah, also because like the school is located in a very good area. It's like what I mean good is that it's in an urban district, a very urban area, so it's like there's alma nearby, there's downtown nearby, like it makes you feel kind of more important that you're in the middle of like a very important place. Like there's like alma, there's downtown, there's like you can just go down to the beach of Alma Beach Park. There's like yeah, so it kind of like makes you feel important because like a few blocks from you is like the capital, so it kind of like feels like you're in an important area. It kind of makes it, I don't know, it's kind of like an ego thing.
Yeah, so, you're at the big city, right?
Yes. Yeah, so it kind of differentiates us from like people from like the rural areas or suburban areas. So it's kind of like there's a pride in that being from the big city. Like I mean, well, in Hawaii terms, but yeah, it's of course it's not big as New York or Tokyo or Mexico City, but yeah, it's like still there's a pride in that. Like we have a very beautiful campus. It's like a lot of great lawns and stuff, and yeah, so like, and the buildings are like the buildings are kind of seen. I know they're like the registry of like historical buildings, so I mean there's a lot of positive things about the campus. It's just the name is very problematic. And you talk about, you mentioned going back to the question about the alumni and all that, like how they feel about the name. Like when I was at the school, like it was kind of like the legacy of William McKinley was treated as like a dark secret. Like the teachers never really brought it up. Like when they introduced you to the students at campus, okay, they talk about like don't step on the oval, like wear tigers, they teach us school stuff, but they never really discussed the legacy of William McKinley. Like it was only mentioned one time in the school's newsletter. It was called Opinion. It was only mentioned once, so like it was kind of treated as a dark secret. The teachers never talk about it, and they never really talk about it. And of course, the students a lot of them don't really care because at that age they're teenagers, and a lot of teenagers don't really care about history as they should. So I don't think people are really attached to the person William McKinley himself, but I think it's just the word McKinley is like they get attached to it because that's just where they went to school, and they don't really think about the implications of why it's named McKinley and that sort of thing.
Interesting. And where did you didn't really learn about McKinley at McKinley? Where did you learn about that history?
Okay, so interesting question because I mentioned about I think my older brother was going to school at the time, like so I was still like middle school when he mentioned that people wanted to change the name. So it was kind of like in the back of my head, but it didn't really it wasn't really a center of my thoughts for a long time. Like my brother did mention that the name was controversial. I think he mentioned it in passing, and then it was kind of like when I went to high school, it wasn't like again the name and the meaning of it and why it's problematic. It wasn't really in the center of my thoughts. Like I think as I get older and I learn more about the colonialism and history and all that stuff and why it's problematic, then I came around to bring it up. But also a lot of people like in Hawaii will also like defend McKinley's name because we have Kamehameha schools, and Kamehameha took over he's from the Big Island, and he took over Oahu and Maui, and so they'll mention that, and like of course like I'm not going to defend Kamehameha's name in itself, but I'm not a Kamehameha alumni, so that's my mind is more conscious of McKinley because that's my school and all that stuff, but people will bring that up like, oh, what about Kamehameha? He took over walk into, well, what is true? I mean, I'm not gonna call him a hero or anything, but they will definitely bring that up.
Yeah. And so you learned about it after school.
Yeah, so I learned about it, and as I go on and learn and read things, and I remember we went over a little bit of history about Hawaii and the colonialism at the University of Hawaii, but even then, like after a while, like I just keep learning more about history. What was that?
So sorry, you went to UA.
Yes.
Where did you go to middle?
Oh, Hawaii and the co-op. So it's a new one. So no one's gonna get rid of that name because that's like Hawaiian royalty, and he didn't conquer anything, and like I mean I didn't really go even when we were at that school, we didn't really go over Prince David Quantico's legacy that much, and of course, you know, middle schools don't always learn about history as they should, but yeah, there's definitely no controversy about the Prince David Quantico's name.
Yeah. Are you feeling like it's more of the older McKinley alums who are not as willing to take it? Maybe they're not as connected to Hawaiian history that maybe the younger generation.
It could be. I mean, I think it's not with old people. I can't really speak for those who are younger than me because I never really surveyed those who are still going there or those who are who have just recently graduated. So I really don't know like how they feel about it. But I think more the older people. Like for my cohort, my generation, yeah, there's some people who are like fierce defenders of the McKinley name, and I do like lose like I wouldn't say close friends, but I do like lose like Facebook friends of that issue. So there are some like who are very like defendant of their name. There's also some who are like in my opinion that feel that we should change names. So it kind of varies, and then there's some. But I think like every time we have these Facebook debates, like I think most of the people like are like silent observers. So there's some people who don't really care either way. Like they're like yeah whatever, but there are some who are like fierce defenders of the name, and they feel like oh, why are you trying to change history? Like, that's another cliche right there, changing history. Like, no one's changing history, and like, no one ever said we should change the name because we want to change history. We're just trying to like, change the new direction of history. We're trying to make new history. So when we named the school back to Honolulu High School, we're making new history. We're not getting rid of old history. We're making new history, and when the statue of McKinley comes down, that's not erasing history. That's making new history. Just like how like the statues of Saddam Hussein got like torn down after his government got overthrown, and statues of a whole bunch of other dictators got taken down after they lose power. So there's that. So yeah, there definitely does like people do lose friendships over the controversy over the William McKinley's name or the high school's name.
Okay, this is helpful. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Anything else you want to add?
When do you predict the article to be published?
I don't know. I was thinking once school starts, maybe so like sometime after August 1st. So
okay.
Yeah, but I still have a lot more reporting to do. Do you have any other alums who would be willing to talk to me? Maybe some of your classmates.
I'll have to ask the permission first before I even give you the names, and then.
And pass my number on to them, maybe.
And how did you find out my name, and how did you?
Yeah, I was looking on the Facebook McKinley alumni group, and some names popped up there.
Oh yeah, and then cause we have the McKinley Class of '99 Facebook page, and that's where we have these debates about the name, and that's why we have some heated arguments and lost friendships. But I think most of the people are just silent observers, like.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's not pressure, but if you come across anybody who wants to talk to me, I'm happy to talk to them.
And I also mentioned, I'm thinking about like not even mention. I probably could like mention on Facebook, and could I like post your number, or should I just say or should I say contact me and then I'll give them the information? How should I do it?
Yeah, you can do that, or you can give me my email. email. You have my email, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Pablo.
Alright, thank you very much.
Okay, take care.
Alright, bye.
Bye.